All right, 3, 2, and 1. Well, Mayor Doug, welcome back to Mayor's Monday, WSAU, WSAU.com. Still a work in progress, your office, that is.
Thanks for the reminder.
But, here we are, still a couple months later, and I guess, does it feel like a new term quite yet? Because we've got a few new faces on the city council, had an organizational meeting. Does it feel like a new term yet for you?
It does feel like a new term. Actually, I'm pretty optimistic. We've had 2 meetings already. We had the organizational meeting, and then we had another meeting to talk a little bit about the council adopting their rules for the upcoming term. And as you might have seen, it passed 6-5, but it didn't pass with the 2/3 majority. So we've got some work to do on that, and we'll bring that back as far as getting those rules the way they'd like to see them. A lot of good engagement that meeting. It was a long meeting, but it was very clear that especially the new members, they had done some homework. They were up here canvassing staff on some of the proposals. So I love to see the engagement. I've seen all 4 of the new alders here at City Hall in the last 2 weeks, doing their due diligence and getting to know the staff. So that's a good sign. And I think, one of the things with new faces, this is the first time we've had 4. In the last 2 years, last 2 terms, we've had 2 new people. Now we've got 4. So fresh perspective, and I'm optimistic.
So as far as the rules go, there was still, still a little muddy, at least to me, from somebody who was watching the meeting and wasn't actually there in person. I was just watching and rolling on it back at the office. Where are we at as far as standing committees go? Are we kind of moving forward right now with the previous format? Well, maybe some more discussion, some more vetting happens on your proposal to trim the committee structure down to 4?
Yes, there was positive. I guess there was enthusiasm for doing something different. Exactly what that is going to look like, they couldn't come to consensus on. But I think one of the things we did learn about it is when we have cases where we're bringing something to public health and safety, then to HR, then to finance, and then to council, doesn't it make a whole lot more sense to condense that a little bit? And we're going to start using more committees of the whole. So if it's going to go to 2 or 3 committees, why not put it in a committee of the whole and then take care of it all at one time? Because what happens is you put 2 committees together, you could potentially have up to 10 if there's no overlap there, and you're excluding one person. So, I think they're beginning to see that that's not a very efficient way to go. So we've already got the retreat committee of the whole on the schedule. We have a few requests from staff for some other committees of the whole, and we also have some alders looking for a committee of the whole on budget process. So that'll be 4 committees of the whole here in the first part of this new term, and we'll learn from that.
So, and we should probably emphasize for those that don't know the difference between the council meeting in a committee of the whole format and in a regular council meeting. If it's in a committee of the whole format, the council can't make a final decision. They can't put a rubber stamp on something and send it to your desk. If it's in a council meeting, that's where that would happen. Committee of the whole kind of vets out the discussion and then maybe sends that to a committee to go through the process, right?
Right. So as its name represents, committee of the whole, which means everyone, they will put a recommendation to council, which is essentially themselves, but it gives them a little more of a meeting that they can do more committee type work, which is a little more in-depth discussion, because typically by the time it gets to the council, it should have already been vetted and a recommendation made from a committee to the council so that you have an efficient process and an efficient discussion. So at this next committee of the whole, their goal is to set priorities, and they're going to take a look at the Wausau strategic plan that was implemented in 2022 through 2027. It's considered a 5-year strategic plan.
Right.
So we're going to review this in light of, does it still match what we think we should be doing today? Is this council on board with everything that's in here? Are there some gaps here? Are there some additions here? What do they want to add to it? What do they want to take away? What do they want to modify? So I think this is a good starting point, because this was a document the former administration spent about $25,000 to produce, which I think we might as well take what they have, see if it still works, and I'm looking forward to that discussion.
Yeah, no doubt about it, because while there was some different viewpoints in that discussion, I think what I did take away from it was they were pretty open to saying, hey, if there's a better way to do this, we haven't really seen it and we haven't really talked about it yet. So there was some good discussion that came out of that, even if you would maybe look at it and say, well, there's still, two separate sides divided here, left and right. It seemed like they were getting some good progress made.
Oh, yes. So I'm optimistic that, that they're recognizing that is a potential issue. But maybe more importantly is, what is the product we're producing? Because I think I would venture to guess most residents don't care what happens at the committee. They're not paying attention to committees, because that's where a lot of the sausage is made. Mm-hmm. They want to concentrate on what are the results that come out of council, because ultimately the council then has to approve the resolution or approve an ordinance, and that's what actually becomes law, is what the council meeting does. So you'll notice online on YouTube, you'll see 200, 300 people watch the council meetings, and like an HR committee, the last one, I think it was like 23 people looking at it, one of the committees. I think so. This discussion is important to the council members. I don't know how important it really is to residents beyond, hey, how much do you plan on raising taxes next year? Or how much do you plan on lowering taxes next year?
Oh,
wouldn't that be a surprise?
Well, if we're gonna go there
Yeah.
right away, first off, the internet term, or the term that the kids would use today, is the committee meetings are for sickos like me, your news director, Mike. That's where I make my hay too, in watching this and taking notes and breaking things down. I can send you a page what the notes look like as I'm taking those meetings.
You see the train wreck coming.
Sometimes. So it's the sickos like me that actually watch the committee meetings, and you as well back in the day. But as far as taxes go, I mean, it didn't take long for that to get brought up in the new council. A couple of the new alders, Bruce Trueblood being one of them, saying, hey, we haven't even really gotten into our work yet, because our work is going to be, how do we do what we were voted here and sent to do, which is find a way to lower taxes.
Right. Well, and that's a good point. I think it's important that when we start having these committees as a whole, to discuss the budget, to discuss our strategic plan, what did each and every one of them run on? And if you go back and look at some of their campaign materials and what they said in the interviews that they did with you and others, that was high on the priority. Residents are looking for us to put a hold on all the tax increases in as much as possible. They want responsible spending. They want their taxes to flatten out. That's high on the priority, and they've all heard it, because a lot of them knocked on doors and that's what they were told. So I have every expectation that the council heard that, and it will be a priority for them.
And I mean, you could maybe take it as a sign too that even some of the alders that won re-election or ran unopposed heard it, because we do have a consideration in tomorrow's agenda packet for a committee, one of those committee of the holes that you mentioned, a budget session put forward by Carol Lukens and Sarah Watson. I kind of say it tongue in cheek, we're going to go there to the budget and taxes right away, but yeah, we actually are, because the council's looking to talk about that right away as well.
Right. Some of the things we've talked about with the budget, what does the process look like? It's outlined in our budget process book, and the approved budget, which I can show them. But if they want to make changes to that, do they want to see some things earlier? Do we do it as a committee of the whole? How about that? Because we do finance committee, we do 3 or 4 listening sessions, or workshops they call them. So maybe we put together that initial briefing in a committee of the whole. How do we structure our debt? How do we decide short-term, long-term? What is our interest? How much debt do we want to keep adding? Maybe the first question is, what's the message to residents? Do you want to increase taxes or do you want to decrease taxes? Start from there and see where they work back to. We should have a debt policy. And then this is something I have talked with our finance director is let's get a 5-year plan and maybe project that out even further, because we would like to know that when the water and wastewater plants start needing major infrastructure improvements in 20 years, they don't last forever, will we still be paying off this loan at that time? So I think it's good for them to get the full picture of the debt, and let's try to find a way to cap debt, drive it down. Because as you also know, it's 25% of our levy spending is to pay off and service debt.
Yeah, and of course, then that's money that's not being used to hire people, pay benefits, or fill potholes.
It's
for that
the biggest
matter.
bucket coming out of the general fund and out of the levy is debt service. So I think most people would agree that there's not a single department here that spends more than that. I think we would rather spend more on departments and city services than paying debt.
And last thing before I let you go, because at least a couple of the alders that have stepped down, you're already appointing to committees. How are we doing on citizen committees? Are you still looking for folks to get involved in one way or another?
Yes, good question. Right now we have some openings in the Arts Commission and in Bike Ped. Most of them, though, Michelle and I have been working on, my temporary assistant over here, filling those spots. And it's been kind of 2 weeks of making phone calls, sending out emails, reappointing some people who would like to stay on, or finding new people who want to come in. So if people aren't aware of it, you can click a citizen participation form on the website and sign up for something. What that does is then it sends an email to me and the clerk, or the clerk, one other person gets it, and we'll file those for up to 2 years. So as openings come up, now we have a database where we can call on residents. Click as many as you want. There's some openings right now, but there's always openings to fill down the road.
I know Keen Winters is coming on to the Historic Preservation Committee. If I remember right, I read on his application, he said, I want to see Gary Gisselman's work continued.
Oh,
I think that's
very good statement. Yes.
Yeah, I think that is one sign of any that, yeah, here's somebody that wants to serve, and it's not necessarily somebody who won an election recently, but it's just somebody that cares enough that they want to serve. So I guess that the point being, that's all you got to do, right?
That's right. So he's actually on the State Historical Society board. It was a governor's appointment. I think he was appointed by Walker and then reappointed by Governor Evers. So that state level interest or knowledge of historical operations, I think, will suit that committee well.
Anything else you'd like us to know then before we let you go for the month?
Well, I would encourage you to watch for the agenda for the retreat. It's going to be public. We're taking it out of the basement. It's going to be in the council chambers. So, and it will be videoed so people will be able to see it. But we are looking for transparency, and we're looking for citizen participation. And if we have a little time, I'll read you my quote from Thomas Jefferson that said, "Participation in public life is the first duty of citizenship." Thomas Jefferson. So, we're going to try to make participation easier, and citizens will then have an opportunity to exercise their right as a citizen to come in and talk to us.
Absolutely. We look forward to it, and always appreciate the time, and look forward to chatting again next month.
In my office.
Hopefully, yes.